Welcome to the British Bulldog of wrestling journalism, the fire-breathing, shoot-slinging, no-holds-barred brawler that was Power Slam, Issue 4, November 1994. This isn't just a magazine, it's a warning shot, a sharp-tongued, ultra-informed slap in the face to lazy promoters, stale gimmicks, and spoon-fed sports entertainment. As the wrestling world stood on the edge of seismic change, Power Slam refused to look away, refused to sugarcoat, and refused to treat its readers like marks. Instead, it kicked the ropes, tightened its laces, and threw stiff shots at the entire industry. The issue opens with a sledgehammer to the gut, an editorial that doesn't tiptoe around the product's flaws. The WWF is lambasted for its clownish creativity and infantilized gimmicks. Characters like Doink the Clown, Mabel, and Friar Ferguson are treated not as entertainment, but as symptoms of terminal creative rot. The editorial argues that Vince McMahon has lost his connection to what wrestling fans actually crave: legitimacy, storytelling, intensity, not men dressed as garbage collectors or clowns who squirt water. The message is clear: the audience is evolving, and the companies are asleep at the wheel. Then comes a profile piece on Bret "Hitman" Hart, perhaps the most fascinating paradox in wrestling at the time. Power Slam doesn't just praise Bret, they surgically analyze him. His in-ring IQ, technical mastery, and tireless work ethic are laid bare with reverence. But they're also frustrated, because the WWF isn't giving Bret the platform he deserves. The article explores how Bret was often overshadowed by flashier stars despite being the backbone of the Federation. The analysis is sobering. Bret's greatness is obvious, but the WWF's refusal to position him as the face of a smarter, more nuanced wrestling future is costing them dearly. From there, we're body-slammed into WCW, where the Halloween Havoc fallout is still smoldering. Ric Flair, having bested Hulk Hogan via controversial means, is spotlighted with the gravitas he deserves. Power Slam gives Flair his flowers, not just as a legend, but as the last working-class artist in a sea of merchandise-first, match-second wrestlers. The match itself is dissected, complete with commentary on how WCW's obsession with overbooking, masked men, cages, run-ins, distracts from what could be classic showdowns. Flair is a maestro, Hogan a fading spotlight hog, and Power Slam sees the writing on the wall. Next, we head to the ECW arena, where Paul Heyman is putting on a masterclass in how to run a wrestling promotion that doesn't insult its audience. ECW is portrayed as the nucleus of rebellion. Sabu, the Sandman, Shane Douglas, they're not just wrestlers, they're insurgents. The piece gives credit to Douglas for rejecting the NWA and birthing the modern ECW, calling it the slap heard round the world. While their production values may lag behind, their passion, hunger, and authenticity tower over the competition. Power Slam treats ECW like the punk rock of wrestling, raw, explosive, and impossible to ignore. Then comes the brutally candid review of the WWF's Survivor Series 1994 build-up, which Power Slam absolutely decimates. Lex Luger is painted as a failed experiment, a charisma void propped up by patriotic themes long since worn out. The article criticizes the booking around The Undertaker and Yokozuna, slamming the cartoonish resurrection angles and magical urn nonsense. There is zero mercy shown. The assessment: the WWF is spiraling into self-parody, clinging to supernatural nonsense instead of investing in pure wrestling drama. The British and European wrestling circuit is given serious attention, something no US mag dared to do at the time. All-star promotions, joint promotions, and the CWA are discussed with warmth and critical insight. Match results, wrestler profiles, tour dates, it's all here. Young prospects are highlighted, including a rising crop of UK talent who may someday break onto the world stage. This isn't a puff piece, it's documentation. Power Slam is ensuring that the legacy of European grappling doesn't get steamrolled by the mega machines in the US. Readers' letters and quanda light up the middle pages like a lightning storm. One letter calls the WWF a theme park of idiocy. Another wonders if WCW's product is getting too southern to appeal globally. The editors respond with facts, snark, and insider insight. The honesty is brutal. When asked if the British Bulldog's return to the WWF will matter, the editor quips, "Only if Vince lets him wrestle, not bark." It's this kind of candor that makes the letters section feel like a round table of diehards, not a PR puff fest. Later, We get a breakdown of the top 5 underrated wrestlers of 1994, and it's a masterclass in seeing through the fog. The list includes talents like Owen Hart, Too Cold Scorpio, and Chris Benoit, names that were at the time rarely acknowledged by mainstream coverage despite their incredible skill sets. PowerSlam builds its case for each, backing it up with match examples, crowd reactions, and promo evaluations. In an age where politics kept many greats on the undercard, this feature dares to say what few would: the best aren't always booked to win. Finally, we close with What's Hot and What's Not, a brutally honest rundown of who's rising and who's flopping. Hot includes Paul Heyman, ECW, Owen Hart, and the idea of long-term storytelling. Not includes the Doink character, Lex Luger's directionless push, WCW's gimmicky booking, and the WWF's obsession with family-friendly cartoonery. It's sharp, snide, and entirely on point. PowerSlam Issue 4 is wrestling journalism at its peak, a steel chair to the skull of complacency. It was raw before Raw was war. It was smart before smart fans were cool. It was everything a wrestling magazine should be: informed, passionate, brutally honest, and deeply respectful of the art form beneath the spectacle. It sees through corporate smoke, hears the fan chants beneath the piped-in noise, and cares about what happens in the ring, not just on the merch table. This was From the Pages, PowerSlam Magazine, November 1994. The issue that punched up, never down. The issue that reminded fans what wrestling could be if only someone had the guts to wrestle with the truth.